Introducing YouTube memberships, a fun way to support the channel while getting some exclusive perks. Click the join button to become a member now and get benefits like badges next to your name on videos, behind-the-scenes photos, advantages during the live trivia game, discounts on merchandise, private one-on-one video chats, the ability to request future video topics, and exclusive 8 to 10 minute videos on the history of the NFL. And now, on with our feature presentation. I know what you might be thinking. In fact, I know what you're probably thinking. Another Dumb Decisions episode about Dennis Allen? From the same game as the one you already talked about? 2 separate episodes from one game? And to that I say, yes. Yes indeed. I've never done it before, but there's no better time than the present, because there was a second decision that Allen made during this game that needs to be touched on. It truly is a miracle how the Saints won this game when their head coach was actively trying to shoot his own team in the foot at every possible turn. Because as dumb as the decision I talked about yesterday was, where he accepted a penalty instead of declining it to pick up 4th down in a situation where the Bears were not going to go for it, which you can learn more about by clicking the card in the upper right corner, this one, amazingly enough, might be even worse. He one-upped himself in his own game with his stupidity. Buckle up, boys and girls. Prepare yourselves for the roller coaster ride that is Dennis Allen. A brief recap of how this game was going up until this point. I won't explain the significance of the game or anything like that, since I did that yesterday and don't want to repeat myself here. At this point in the contest, even despite Dennis Allen's stupidity with the penalty acceptance that led to the touchdown in the first place, the Saints find themselves ahead. Ever since the Saints allowed that touchdown to Cole Kmet, the defense has been getting stops, forcing 2 turnovers and allowing just 3 points on the ensuing 5 drives. The Saints have been moving the ball fairly well, as after the game was tied at 14 apiece after that debacle by Allen that got a ton of criticism from people like myself, they found themselves up 24-17 in the 4th quarter. With the way the Bears have been playing and their inefficiency in moving the ball, and with how little time is on the clock, anything that makes it a 2-score game should end it. And after the Saints start the drive with the ball in Chicago territory, following an interception, they're faced with 3rd and 8. The bad news on this play is that they are unable to pick up the 1st down. So the Bears defense gets a stop, despite the Saints starting with fantastic field position due to the offensive gap by Tyson Bagent and company. The good news, though, is that it brings up 4th and 1 at the 17-yard line, so you're inside the red zone. It's a chip shot field goal. Again, all you need is 3 points, and with 7 minutes left, you have this game on lockdown barring anything absolutely insane. Which is why the Saints send their field goal unit out there and send Blake Rupe out there to make it a 2-score game and put this one seemingly out of reach. Or not. Why are you going for it here? You do realize a field goal makes it 2 scores, and the Bears have not scored on consecutive drives this game, and they're running out of time, and they can't move the ball, right? You just need 3 points, and you basically win it barring anything insane. Dennis Allen, man, why is your offense out on the field? Why is your offense out on the field?
Sides real quick.
They're running it, trying to push Hill forward. Not a lot of burst there for Taysom Hill.
Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something that looked bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something that looked awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of New Orleans Saints head coach Dennis Allen, who is somehow in first place in his division, despite the fact that he doesn't have the slightest clue about in-game management. If you think the world is fair, just know that we live in a society where one of either Arthur Smith, Todd Bowles, or Dennis Allen is going to be a playoff head coach. And I don't think my brain is ready for that. Seriously, I don't think my brain is ready for one of these coaches to be in the playoffs, especially Dennis Allen, who somehow led his team to a victory without doing anything except making the wrong call at every turn. So with that being said, let's take a look at why going for it on 4th and 1 late in the fourth quarter in a one-possession game is a really bad idea. There's two things to look at with this play. Should you have gone for it? And if you are going to go for it and decide that going for it is the right play, what play and what personnel do you have out there on the field? And when you examine both of these, oh man, did they get it wrong. Man, did Dennis Allen get this all wrong. First off, let's look at the risk and reward of going for it on 4th and 1 in that spot with about 7 minutes left, up by 7 points in the game. You have two options. Go for it or kick the field goal. Let's say you kick the field goal. I know Blake Grupe has made some Saints fans want to pull their hair out with some of his misses this year, as he's only hitting on 78.3% of his kicks, which ranks 26th in the league out of 32 kickers, which is insane, because there used to be a time where 78% was incredible, and now it's really, really bad. But I will say this about Grupe. That applies on longer kicks from that 45-plus yard range, where things seem to go a bit haywire from time to time. Inside of 40 yards, he's automatic. On the season before this play, Grupe attempted 11 field goals from inside of 40, and he hit on 10 of them. Every extra point comes from the 15-yard line, so it is, in essence, a 33-yard field goal. On the season, he's attempted 19 extra points, and he's hit on all 19 of them. This means that on the season, on kicks from inside of 40 yards, this man right here, Blake Grupe, is nearly perfect, going 29 for 30, which means he's making those kicks 97% of the time. That's as close to automatic as you're going to get. For some perspective, Baltimore Ravens kicker Justin Tucker, maybe the greatest kicker in NFL history, is hitting 97.2% of his kicks from that range this year when we combine field goals and extra points. So I suppose there is a risk that he misses the field goal here from 34 yards out, but it's the same risk as Tiger Woods missing a 1-foot putt, or the same risk as, for all the baseball fans out there, Willie Mays dropping a fly ball right at him. It's just not going to happen. If you line up for the 34-yard field goal, based off of everything we know about the man you've been watching with Blake Grupe, he's going to make this kick, and it would take something crazy for him not to. Which means that, for all intents and purposes, kicking the field goal bodes no risk whatsoever, and extends the lead to 27-17. Now, you find yourself up by 2 scores against the Chicago Bears team that has scored just 3 points on their last 5 drives, has turned it over twice on their last 5 drives, has a 3-and-out in that stretch, and is being led by a backup quarterback in Tyson Bagent, who is a turnover machine and has been wildly ineffective as of late, as on his last 2 drives, he has 2 passing yards and an interception. Make it a 2-score game, and you say, alright, we're up by 10 points. Go ahead, Chicago. Drive down the field, get a quick score, then somehow find a way to do it again. Your offense was abysmal last week. It's been abysmal today as of late. Make our day. If you're up by 10 points and you're up by 2 scores, you basically just won the game. I know there's still 7 minutes left, but going up by 2 scores against this Bears team with half the fourth quarter having already expired is as close to a surefire thing in that spot as you're going to get. If you go for it there, though, sure, you could get it and churn some more clock, and then eventually kick a field goal with even less time left on the clock, or score a touchdown. And that would be nice. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie. The best case scenario there is better than the best case scenario in the other option, and I will not even try to pretend otherwise. But the risk is so high. If you can't pick up the first down, Chicago is right in this ballgame. It's only a 1-score game, and Chicago is 1 fluke play away, or 1 weird drive, from tying this bad boy up. The odds that you win the game if you get the first down increase compared to the odds if you kick the field goal, but they decrease at a significantly larger number if you don't get the first down. It's almost like a situation where you make a bet with someone. You have 20 bucks and they have 10 bucks. If you win the bet, you take his 10 bucks and you go up 30 bucks. If you lose the bet, you owe him 20 bucks. Like, yes, the best case scenario is better than the alternative of just staying put. 30 bucks is better than 20 bucks. But the worst case scenario puts you at a way worse disadvantage than the advantage was of winning. You lose 20 bucks versus you can get 10. And that's what it felt like here by opting to go for it on 4th and 1. It just didn't seem to make any sense. But okay, let's say you're saying to yourself, come on, it's only a yard. You fall forward and you get it. Don't overreact. And okay, I'll play along there for a second. I don't agree with it, but I will play along for a bit. Even if that was the case, if you're going to try that play on 4th and 1, why the heck would you try it with Derek Carr? Why would you try it with Carr, one of the least mobile and agile quarterbacks in football, when you have Taysom Hill on your team? Hill had been torching the Bears all game long when he's been on the field. Hill is great in these spots. He's great at running. He's great at breaking tackles. He's great in this situation. We've seen it time and time again. Give it to Hill in this spot, and he's nearly unstoppable. And you know exactly what I'm talking about if you watch this game and the Thursday night game against the Jaguars, just to name a few. Although there are countless others since he's been with the team. You decided to go for it on 4th down here, even though a chip shot field goal wins the game, which I already don't agree with. And then, you compound that mistake by calling this play with the wrong player? It's like the Golden State Warriors drawing up a play for a 3-pointer when you only need 1 point. Not crazy about the lower percentage play, but okay. And you drop the play for Draymond Green instead of Steph Curry. You would look at Steve Kerr if he did that like he had 5 heads. And this is no different. This is no different at all. You cannot call this play with Derek freaking Carr when you have Taysom Hill. You just cannot. Not that you should have even been going for it in the first place, but if you are, make sure you have the right players on your team to put you in the best spot to succeed. And not, well, whatever the heck this was. I don't know what the Saints are doing in these spots. Seriously, I don't. They did it a few weeks ago in a Thursday night game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, in a game that you can learn more about by clicking the card in the upper right corner, where Taysom Hill was just torching them the entire game, and then they got down to the 6-yard line and decided not to use him with the game on the line. Not for one play. They just forgot he existed, and the Jaguars won a nail-biting finish because of that. And then, in the game between these two teams behind me right here, they did it again. They forgot they had Taysom Hill, and they ran a play with Derek Carr that would have been good for Taysom Hill, but because it's Derek freaking Carr, it didn't work. It's like racing your friends, and instead of using your Ferrari, you use your minivan. Like, what are you thinking? Dennis Allen and the Saints lack all situational awareness whatsoever. Not that they should have gone for it here, because again, I think it was the wrong call to go for it. But if you are going to go for it, why do this? Why this? So what do we learn from all of this? Aside from the fact that apparently you can make all the wrong decisions during a singular game of football and somehow win without any situational awareness? If you have a chance late in the 4th to make it a 2-score game, and you're facing an offense that cannot move the ball, and time is running out, then make it a 2-score game. Take the de facto victory. If the odds of winning drop more if you fail than the odds of winning increase if you succeed, then it's probably best to stick with the option that just gives you the guaranteed points. If you are going to go for it, make sure you roll a good play for the right players, and don't try and fit a square peg in a round hole when you have a round peg on your team that could easily enter the game in this situation. And if your in-game management is so bad that I have to do 2 separate videos on it from the same game, then maybe it's time to reevaluate things. We don't know what Dennis Allen's logic or reasoning or rationale was behind this decision, because he wasn't asked during the post-game press conference, since the reporters were grilling him about every other decision that he made during this game, of which There were several. But whatever this rationale was behind this was clearly the wrong one. Very clearly, it was the wrong one. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Get your official Jaguar Gator 9 merchandise by going to jj9shop.com, and be sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out a lot. Join me every Wednesday night where we'll play NFL Trivia for cash prizes at 9 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. To learn more about the history of college football, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 8. To learn more about the history of Major League Baseball, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 7. Also, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters for helping out the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. See how you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.